Welcome back to another live and amplified indie fusion podcast. We're here at Mountain Breeze Campgrounds at Inner Jam down by the river 2024. It is day 2. The fact that my voice doesn't sound like absolute garbage right now is amazing, but you know, it is what it is. We're sitting here with Colton French. How's it going today, man?
It's going good. It's going good.
Yeah, glad to. I feel like we've turned this into a ritual of sorts at this point. You know, you're always so busy, and this is really the only time we ever get a chance to sit down and chat. So
yeah, that's true. So,
how's everything been going? You just recently relocated to Austin, and
yeah, here about 3 months ago, packed up and moved to Austin. Been staying with a buddy in Manor, and got an apartment located in South Austin. So
nice. And how's Austin been treating you?
I'm loving it. Loving it. It's a slow burn trying to get into the scene, but that's kind of true anywhere. But yeah, met a lot of people, made a lot of connections, and it's been good. Nice. It's been a very positive change.
Nice. And are you playing like around Austin, or are you trying wherever you can get shows?
Right now, just wherever I can get shows. It's going to take a little bit before I can start reliably pulling Austin venues.
Yeah, fair enough. So what have you been working on outside of trying to acclimate to Austin? Are you writing music, or what do you got going on?
I'm trying to write a little bit.
Okay.
I had a couple of years of a slump, and here in the last year or so, I've been able to kind of get a few things together, get a few written, and get a few more started, and that's been positive.
Nice.
Still working on finishing that second album.
Fair.
Just down to background vocals now. That's been a 5-year process, but once that's done,
you can't rush things sometimes. You know, it's one of those things where if it's worth it, it's worth it. You know.
Yep, that's the truth. And a lot of life has happened in the last 5 years.
Yeah. So. Do you worry that since it's been quite the process, that the songs are not necessarily representing who you are as a musician right now, or are they still pretty consistent to what you're about?
I think if anything, they're getting more consistent.
Okay.
Yeah. It's I have a hard time writing about anything other than sort of
fair
what resonates with me. So
it's fair.
If anything, it's I feel like it's getting better.
Cool. And it's just one of those things where time just kind of brought it all out of you, and
you just kind of musically mature over time.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the direction that it's going.
Nice. That's cool. And I overheard you yesterday that you're wanting to write a concept album about was it King Saul, right?
Yeah. Kind of. I've gotten 2 songs penned down for the album, and I'm working on like 2 or 3 more.
Yeah.
But that'll be the 3rd album. I'm obviously not going to put out any release dates or anything for it because I haven't even started it. I'm still working on number 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm taking the life and death of King Saul as kind of a like typographical sort of image of the human condition, and trying to build off that. So it's not going to be like strictly historically accurate, but I do try to keep it as close as I can.
Nice.
To achieve the purpose. But,
that's cool. And when you're still working on it, but what kind of prompted this idea? Was it just a challenge that you wanted to undertake?
I was just going through First and Second Kingdoms, First and Second Samuel, and just found the story to be very rich, and just kind of had some ideas, and like, well, let's try and build a project on this.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. And so that'll downline. We'll downline that one for a little bit, and focusing on this second album. Obviously, you said it's been a long process, kind of working on it and whatnot. And do you feel like this year going into next year will kind of be the final little push to get it done, or is there still too much to do to kind of?
I think this year going into next year will be the final push.
And you think Austin is going to be able to help with that, like creatively? Because we were talking a little offline about Bryan College Station kind of losing some venues and all that stuff. Do you feel like the move to Austin is really going to like reinvigorate you to kind of get everything done?
I do. on one hand, I'm living a little bit closer to the studio that I'm working through.
Yeah.
And on the other, the friend of mine, Andrea Young, that's doing the background vocals, she lives in Austin as well.
Oh, nice.
So it makes it a little bit easier to kind of coordinate things and get everything figured out. The whole reason that album has taken so long is there's a pandemic there through the first half of the production process.
Yeah.
And then Andrea's had some upheaval in her own life, so we've had to kind of put the brakes on things a little bit and just kind of feel things through. But we're working on getting some plans together to get that finished up. Once those vocals are done, it's just mix master and
it's out of your hands at that point, and just kind of other people do their jobs now. So
yep, I've got all that figured out as far as how I'm going to do that. So
are these songs that you're playing in your set? Like, are these the songs that'll be on the second album? Are they songs that people have heard before, or will this be a whole brand new batch of stuff?
It'll be mostly stuff people have heard before.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much my show for Jam.
Yeah.
The last couple of years has been mostly pulled out from the second album.
Okay.
And that's not changing this year.
Yeah.
So
fair.
But
that actually makes a lot of sense, because I was sitting there, I was like, man, if he's just sitting on a bunch of music from an album for the last 5 years that he hasn't even played out yet, I feel like you're missing the mark a little bit. But no, that's cool that you're getting out there, and I'm sure playing it out as much as you've been able to, it's helped that maturing process we were talking a little bit about, with the songs. And it's like, oh, this song, the pacing's a little off. We need to fix, that sort of stuff. So
yeah, you run into little things that you tweak, and
yeah. Nice. So you're playing tonight, right, or tomorrow?
Today at 4:30 p.m.
Okay. What keeps bringing you back to Interjam?
I just love it here. Yeah. It's kind of like Mecca for us.
Yeah.
The annual pilgrimage. Dustin's a saint for putting this on every year. We greatly appreciate him.
It's so funny, because like half these people I don't even see, but whenever I come here, but they all like, oh, hey, good to see you. It's like, I was telling who was I telling? Maybe Jason or something. That to me, this is more like a family reunion that just happens to have music, because everybody's like, it's a music festival for musicians. It's like, I see that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's a family reunion, and there just happens to be music that plays.
Yeah, that's a fantastic way of putting it on.
Right.
That's about what it is.
Yeah, and then the fact that everybody's just like, for the most part, obviously you've got like outliers or whatnot that can't stay the entire weekend because they're working musicians, and it's like every night that they're not playing, they're missing out and whatnot. But for the most part, I think everybody kind of understands what this is, and it's like, we're here for the experience. So that's really cool. So what's the plan for the rest of the year? Obviously, you got the second album. Are you playing pretty consistently right now, or is, because of the move to Austin, it's a little hit or miss?
It's a little hit or miss right now because of the move to Austin. I've got what do I got going on? I've got one in Kerrville. Okay. In November. Then my calendar's a little bit pretty much clear until February. I'm going to be going out to Big Bend and playing Starlight, and working on getting a few other venues kind of tied down at the same time.
That's cool.
Make the most of it. It'll be good.
Nice. And then outside of music, what have you been getting into?
Outside music, I just started working for a wine and spirits distributor. Okay. Getting back into the wine and spirits industry. Nice. That's been great for me. Beats the hell out of renting cars to people. Right.
I remember that's what you were doing last year, right? When we talked.
Yeah, working for Enterprise.
Yeah.
It's nice to be in an industry where I've got a lot of qualifications, and where I've got a proven history. Because I used to joke that first I was giving them the booze, then I was giving them the keys. Now I'm back down to giving them the booze again.
I'd say you're back up to giving them the booze, but because I don't know. Oh no, that's cool. I'm glad that you made the move to Austin, and it feels like right now it's probably like, oh, why'd I make this move, because the shows are kind of a little harder to get. But in general, like, I think it's, and I think you see it right off the bat. it's gonna be very beneficial. So
I'm absolutely enjoying being somewhere where there's a scene again.
Yeah,
and sort of getting to make connections with other musicians. And that's something that I've missed about post-pandemic, or missed about Bryan since the pandemic, because we had a pretty vibrant scene up there, and then it's gone.
Did you notice that in Bryan College Station, like once people started hitting a certain point in their music, that they were just leaving anyways?
Yeah, honestly.
Okay.
Torin went to Smithville.
Yeah.
So he's pretty much an Austinite now too.
Yeah.
Of course, J.D. Brunson, who plays bass for him, is now working at Hole in the Wall.
Yeah.
And
then Mary Charlotte, she's still down at BCS, right?
Yeah, she's still in Bryan. She spends most of her time traveling to other places.
Yeah. Because it's very funny. I keep getting asked, a lot of people from Nashville, they want to come do like a little Texas run. And it's like, it's easy to do, you know, it's really not that hard. You fly into Dallas and just drive down 35.
Yep.
You're going to hit pretty much every major music scene in this, at least in the central part of Texas.
That's true.
I don't know what West Texas has other than Lubbock, and like maybe El Paso has a little bit of a scene, but
there's quite a bit of folk music going on.
Yeah.
All throughout all throughout Big Bend area.
Yeah.
Of course, what's his name? He's a fiddle player. Doug. I could say his name if I wasn't trying to. Doug Moreland.
Okay.
He lives in Marfa.
Okay.
And he was pretty big there for a little bit. Fantastic fiddle player. He does chainsaw woodcutting too.
Nice.
Terlingua was a big hotbed for folkies coming through. All those old field hippies that settled out there.
Yeah.
It's a cool spot.
Oil field hippies. I've never heard it worded like that, but that tracks.
Old field hippies.
Old field hippies. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I was like, oil field hippies. That feels like a little bit of a.
I'm sure there's plenty of those too.
Right. Oh no, that's really cool. No, I'm glad that everything is like you made a change and it's working out, or at least you know you're making the best of it. You know. So the plan is to finish up the second album and hopefully have it out next year at some point?
Yep.
Cool.
Hoping to get it pushed out next spring, and that ought to be
nice. And then it'll be ready to go for the third album. Hopefully it won't be 5.5 years for that one. So
yeah, hopefully, knocking on wood on that.
Right.
If there's not another global pandemic in that time, which knock on wood again.
Right. I've been reading a lot of shit recently, and it's like, I'm good. So
yeah, as long as there's no pandemic or nuclear war in the meantime,
we're aces. I feel that. Awesome. Well, Colton, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciated the conversation. Thank you everybody for tuning in. If anybody wants to check out your music, all that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
You can find me on www.coltonfrenchmusic.com. I've got the first album on Spotify. I released that in 2018. Of course, my style's changed quite a bit since then, but it's still pretty good. Still pretty good.
What would you say is the main difference between that and what you're currently doing?
Well, I stopped. The first album was mostly like traditional folk style, with the steel string guitar and sort of kind of pulling from early influences. I've kind of taken a hard left turn in the last 6-7 years thereabouts.
Yeah.
And or 5-6 years, as long as I've been working on this album. Got a pretty nice Cordoba classical and started incorporating some Near Eastern and Spanish influences.
Nice.
Started pulling in some other influences, Leonard Cohen, Paco de Lucia.
Nice.
Fleshing things out to a style that's more uniquely me.
Nice, cool. It's actually going to be my last question but you answered it, so that's cool. But it's been an absolute pleasure, man. I always enjoy these sit-downs for, every year, and appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And thank you everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, and when I finally release the album, I'll get in touch with you.
Fair.
That way you don't have to wait a full year to see me.
Let me know, and then maybe I'll make the trip down to Austin, or hopefully, I don't know.